fresh air with new kicks on. The Crack King Podcast. A breath of fresh air with new kicks on. The Crack King Podcast. A breath of fresh air with new kicks on. This is the Crack King from the Crack King Podcast, and I'm here with a review of Loki Season 1, Episode 3. I got my boy Mike Check with me. Shout out to Mike Check for sticking it out with the Crack King on these reviews.
Hey man, this is where I'm at. This is where I prosper. So I'm ready to go.
Help me out with the title of this episode. One more time.
Lamentis.
Lamentis.
Yeah.
I want to start off with the opening song by I want to say Haley Kiyoko, Demons. I found myself bobbing to the music. I was feeling it. It was setting the tone for me.
Yeah, well, you know, this whole I know you've been wanting some action. I think we got a little bit more on this episode, so I think that music kind of was like a
what was happening was like a weird interrogation situation. I'm assuming she was in her mind. It was the reveal where she was in her mind using her powers on her.
Yeah, yeah. I forget what they called it or what they referred
enchantment.
To. But enchantment is the one where she takes hold of their body and axes them.
I wasn't happy with that scene. I just thought it could have been better played out.
It was weird seeing because we're already used to Lady Loki in her her garments and then we see her right off the bat in what would be like Earth human clothes.
Yeah.
So it was confusing for a second, and then if you remember the Hunter, one of the agents that she was messing with in the episode before. Same thing. It looked like a chill scene. So it was like, what's going on with this? But then we find out that she is enchanting her, and she had to use memories. So that goes into the whole. Now we're figuring some stuff out about the TVA.
I don't even think it's the space lizards. I think it's the Conqueror.
Could be. It could be. That's what we got to get to. So
in that last episode, they left us on a cliffhanger. We was trying to figure out where they were going, and we see they went right back to the TVA because the variant Loki is on some kind of mission. I want to, she came out, badass style. She took her horn off.
Yeah,
and they got with the fisticuffs. Well, she tried to use her powers, and she seen that they wasn't working there.
And she looked surprised, so that tells you something.
Yeah, but she said her plan was 100 years in effect, so you should have known your powers wasn't working. I don't know. It was weird. The whole Loki variant thing, just like the comics from the Agents of Asgard, it was kind of weird to me. I'm sorry. Let me shout out Lloyd Bateman for the fight scenes. You know what I mean? She sold it that she could beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, for sure, and and she did kind of have a Loki style because that scene is reminiscent of him and Valkyrie's fight.
Renslayer come run around the corner.
Yeah,
and she told him. She said, "I'll kill him," and she said, "Go ahead." I don't give a shit. So that threw me. I was like, okay, well, they're evil. They don't give a shit about what's going on. They got their own agenda. That just gave it away to me.
Oh yeah. We only see her for a second, but you knew. Well, that's in the episode before. You see her get up from her chair and grab her pruner, and she was like, "I'm done. If they kill them each other, it only helps her." So Lamentis.
In 77, was it 2077?
2077.
2077. And I had a little conspiracy theory that the variant Loki was from the future. Because all of the apocalypse that she hid were in the future.
Yeah, that theory makes sense because, if she is from the future, she's more familiar with those apocalypses. Loki, picked one at random and it took him there. So
Yeah, he sure did, just to get him out of that situation.
Yeah.
And then they continued the fight, and then it was like magic against magic. And I thought that was pretty dope. I thought they had like a couple of little moments where they had a connection like him and Enchantress had in the comics. Yeah.
So, okay, they keep fighting on this planet when they get there.
Yeah.
And you know, she knows where she's at. So, you know, you would think that she would quit the fighting.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed, I think it was at this point where you can kind of see that Lady Loki realizes that she's not up to par with Loki.
No.
Strong enough, cunning enough. She's not going to be able to trick him. You know,
he tricked the shit out of her. He never showed in any of the other MCU movies how really powerful he is, or how powerful he could be, like he did in this episode.
Sure. Well, like these other shows that we watch, I think it is a good chance to come back on some characters and really highlight what they're able to do, especially with Scarlet Witch. But yeah, this is, you know, just like that, a good opportunity to really give some context. And then, you know, after we watch this, we can always go back and look at the movies, and it kind of, you know, he's more powerful. We might even notice things we didn't notice before.
Yeah, and she knew she couldn't beat him. They had to like go on this mission together. They had to like do what he wanted from the get-go, was work together. Like Captain America and Bucky and what was his name? Zemo.
Yeah.
It was like a friendship, but it wasn't that cool.
But the fact that they were on this doomed planet,
oh man,
that I think that for this episode, you know, took priority over everything else.
Did you see the asteroids and how the moon was in the background?
Cool. Like, I had a better quality TV because cool effects.
Man. I thought I was on that planet when it started. Like the shit just started getting. I thought they were going to do some backstory on the variant Loki.
Sylvie, yeah. So yeah, that's
they did more background on our Loki, you know?
Right. And I think there's a reason for that. So we go back to you talking about Enchantress.
Yes.
So I had to do the research on this. So yeah, there was two characters that took that mantle in the comics. One of them being Sylvie Lushton.
Okay.
And she was an enchantress. From what I understand, she was created by Loki.
Was she ever a love interest?
I didn't get too far into that, but
yeah, he was like through the whole episode, he was more Viking than I expected.
Yeah, really. Again, very Asgard. You know?
Yes.
So yeah, and she wakes up from her nap and takes a good look at her, or she takes a good look at him, and I think that they might follow along with the comics in a sense. So maybe later on down the road, it's a theory of mine that she was created by Loki. And you know that we didn't go too much into her backstory because you know, or she even said she don't remember her mother that much.
Yeah, when they were on the train and O.M.G. motherfucking G moment, you know, they hinted at it in the beginning of the season that he was fluid, and he admitted bisexual. They're taking a big burden on. Like, are they going to give him a boyfriend?
Yeah, like, no, I don't think so. I think it's cool that they did that, and I'm sure it makes the whole LGBTQ community happy. They're trying to be inclusive, but I don't think they're gonna just push too much on that. I mean, for the sake of the stories, what we have coming up. It's cool, but I don't think it's gonna be this, this big thing that they threw it in there, and we're gonna keep moving on. I mean,
personally, I'm gonna be honest. It's the Crack King from the Crack King podcast. I always thought villains were LGBT or Q because they were so obsessed with the heroes. The female counterpart or sidekick they had was in love with them, but they would treat them so bad, like they didn't give a shit about them, and they would be obsessed over the hero. Or they wouldn't even have a love interest; it would just be a bunch of thugs with them in tight clothes trying to kill the hero. So I never thought it different.
Yeah, that's the villainous tone. I mean, you know, what can you say? What you know? In the end, what does it matter? I think it was a good chance for them to be inclusive. To you know, but I mean, for me, Loki, I don't care to see Loki falling in love with anyone. Yeah, I mean,
well, in the comics, he would flip from female to male. You know, I've never seen anything where he would have a love interest, except for I think Enchantress was in love with him. And he was, you know, obsessed with destroying Thor and taking over Asgard. And then he said he didn't want to be Loki, God of Mischief anymore, you know. So it's Sylvie is more like the fluid to me from the comics, but then they just took her sexuality preference and just put it on our Loki time.
Yeah, no, as far as Sylvie goes, that, you know, it seems like she's such a mystery. Yeah. But you know,
she can kick ass, though. I'll tell you that much.
She is. You know, the MCU follows pretty, you know, standard guidelines as far as using source material. Yeah. They change things up, and that's okay. That's like any comic book series. They'll change things up sometimes. But the way it's going, it really looks like, you know, there might even be another Loki who's already like, you know, ahead of the game right now. Sylvie could really be, like in the comics, a creation of some kind of Loki. Yeah. So, you know, that's what I'm excited to find out. But I think that's a big reason why we thought we were going to have some kind of backstory. And like you said, we ended up just getting more Loki backstory.
Lamentis didn't have any fucking aliens on it. It was just like regular humanoid people. I just didn't get that.
I've given up on that. I think.
But I mean, if Thor, because you notice how the theme of Thor is like going to cosmic and space level now.
Yeah.
So why not show aliens then? If
you know, but how many new looking crazy kind of aliens can you get and make it interesting? You know,
you'd be surprised, man. I wouldn't give a damn what it is as long as it's an alien. I don't want to get bogged down on the alien thing. That's for Star Wars. I'll leave my aliens for Star Wars. MCU, we have humanoids. Okay, whatever.
Sure.
She wakes up from the train ride. He's singing his drinking song. And to me, I'm like, man, he's like straight up Viking. He's playing the game. They get into a big fight. Shout out to the fight choreographer because the variant Loki, she kicks motherfucking ass. It almost looked like she had a wardrobe change because she took the cape off and the horns. She looked like a complete. She started looking like him.
Yeah, a little bit. And they sit side by side at one point.
Kicks a motherfucker straight through the door, and then he gets his ass kicked off the train.
yeah, I know. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know why it just didn't look like it was gonna go that way.
Yeah,
and, but they end up getting off the train, you know,
and breaking the Tim pad. So then, like, oh, okay, here we need another plan. And Loki was down with another plan. I don't know whether he was drunk or he knew something. It's like he know he's not going to die on that planet. That's what it seemed like to me.
Isn't that how Loki is, though? I mean, the worst stuff. Like, I kind of am jealous because we can't do that. We can't just go on an adventure and face peril and just like, I'm going to find a way out of this, and then just keep going, no consequences. So
you'd be surprised how people live their lives, man. I think, and this is my conspiracy, I think he has a time stone or something. When they were running for their lives through the city to get to the ship, that'll wake you up real fast.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, so, you know, his drinking definitely mirrored that of Thor in Ragnarok when he's talking to Doctor Strange, and he just takes that beer down like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So drunk maybe, but again, he's a god. So was he blacked out? No. And
you're right, because when that whole fucking building was getting ready to fall on him, he just held it and then pushed it up and it did look like he used much effort for it.
Yeah, have we not seen that before? I've never seen that power before.
I think he's learning new powers from the variant Loki, because she taught him how to do the enchantment. I think
he told him how to. It could just be stress learned too. He gets put in a situation and to defend himself, these come up. I actually wasn't too happy with that, because that's like it was almost like he had a time stone, like he reversed it real quick. I don't know
that's what I was saying. Like, he must have a time stone in his possession, because he did look in the drawer and grabbed stones. He still has the Tesseracts.
He's been doing little sly shit like that this whole 3 episodes.
Like he had almost as if he has a gauntlet. I don't mean a gauntlet, but I know he has more than one stone in his possession.
No, that makes sense now, because I didn't like that was a power of his.
Yeah,
it was like
strange.
Magic makes sense. Him being able to do projections of himself. It just goes to show you he's not dumb. He's
most definitely
his pickpocket in the world.
And his motherfucking O.M.G. moment is when he found out that everyone that works for the evil TVA is a variant, and I think it's a variant from the 90s, because they had all kinds of 90s shit around there. What are your predictions for the next episode? Because I'm going to just go into mine real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't have any, because I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
I definitely don't try to give it too much thought, because I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
At the same time, there is a good amount of source material that they use, and so it's not hard to really, or I guess you could say it's kind of easy to predict. You can have a couple of ideas that are possibilities, but for me, I think we're going to figure out more about Sylvie. I hope that if I'm correct, there's another Loki down the line that is has a master plan and is ahead of these two that we're dealing with right now. And if that's the case, like the comics, she could be a creation. How they're going to escape this planet? I have to imagine that Agent Mobius. We didn't even see Agent Mobius in this episode, but I can imagine.
You sure didn't, and I kind of missed him. Too.
I did too. Well, he's in hot shit now because he can't keep his variant contained. But
no. And I want to see Tracker Brown Sugar. See what kind of shit she got. I really want to see the TVA explain this shit to the Conqueror, because I think it's the Conqueror and not no space lizards.
And, I don't know. Next episode is gonna be crazy. Hopefully
it will be crazy. Hopefully it got some more action.
You wanted in this?
Yeah, it had all of the action that I wanted. I can't complain about it, man. It really showed. It was almost like a James Bond movie, Like when they're on the train and fighting and doing all that, and then he gets his ass kicked out, and then she just jumps out because she's like, "Oh shit!" It looked like she was getting tired of his bullshit.
Yeah, for sure. But I think she's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about her attitude and the way she looked at him, and it looked like she had like some realizations.
We're all here for this Marvel shit, man. We like big fucking kids.
It's good. It's good. I love it.
It is, man. This is the Crack King for the Crack King podcast, and that's been your spoiler review of episode 3 of the hit Disney Plus series Loki season 1. I got my boy Mike Check.
Thanks for having me, man. I can't wait to see you next episode.
Man, glad to have you, man. A breath of fresh air with your kicks on. The Crack King podcast. a breath of fresh air with new kicks on.
Yeah.
The Crack King Podcast.